What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. Let me turn off the dryer here because it is going and it's loud. All right, there we go. And this video is another FD video. Just taking over the channel right now. That's okay. FDs are awesome. All right, so one thing that Thomas and I discovered about this car is when you have the headlights on or the running lights or anything like that, and the taillights turn on, if you are to step on the brake, instead of this going into the second phase where they get brighter to signal you're braking, just on this right hand side one, it shuts off completely. Now that could be many things. It could be, more than likely, you'd think it'd be a bad ground. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the grounds, make sure they're all clean and clear, because this car did come over from Japan on a boat where, you know, the sea, the salt water and all that stuff really kind of can do a number on the electronics. So we're gonna run the grounds, we're gonna check for continuity. The bulbs are brand new. We just put new bulbs in. We thought they could be the bulbs, like the second elements out, but that's not the case. So we're gonna go ahead and take it apart and see what we can find. And one thing I did order just in case is I did get new sockets for the tail light, so that could always be an issue as well. So we're gonna go ahead, dive into it, and see what happens. So in case you guys are ever wondering how to take off the FD taillights, for the side ones it's really simple. Center is really simple too, but all it really is just these 3 screws right here. If I can do this left-handed. Yeah, just take these out here. Once the screws are removed, you just remove this whole panel real quick. And this right here is where people sometimes get confused or messed up, because what they'll do is they'll actually pull out. And that's not how you remove these taillights. So the key to removing these taillights is literally you slide that way. And once they slide out, let's switch angles here. And then it's off, just like that. And for the left side of the car, same thing. Remove the 3 screws and then you slide it that way. So always slide out. And for the center part, it's just 2 screws back here and this will come off. Actually, I think it's 3. No, it's 2. Oh no, it's 4. My bad. 1. It's because these are missing. Okay. But 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then this comes off, and then the center light, third brake light and everything, this will come out. Now to access more of the wiring that's tucked behind here, it's really simple. Just pull up on this weather stripping here and get this kind of out of the way. And once this is kind of out of the way here, it gives you more room to lift up on this piece right here, because this piece does have to be removed to get to more wiring. It sounds like death, but it is necessary. There should be a clip right there, and off it comes. And set this off to the side here. So then we have access to a big hub right here, which has been disintegrated, where this is where all the grounds come into. So we gotta check here, as well as the wires. Okay, so Thomas is good at wiring, while I am not. And he has his voltmeter checker out. And we are going to go ahead, flip on the taillights so he can get some power. And we can start checking to make sure everything is as it should, or narrow down to what is not working. So we'll go ahead, and just for example here, Thomas, you want to...
Yeah, let's show them what's going on right now.
So when I turn on the running lights, just for example, we have 1 bulb out. You can see it is working properly, but as soon as you go for the brake, it turns off.
That shouldn't happen, because let off the brake. So there's running lights, brakes, it should go to the higher brightness setting.
So now what we're going to do is check for continuity, and as I step on the brake, see if anything like a ground or something like clicks, because those are like 2-step bulbs. There's like the normal, and then there's the second step for the actual brake light. So I don't think it's the switch because everything else is working, so it has to be within the confines of this area right here. But Thomas is the wiring guy. He can tell you if I'm right or wrong about that.
Yes, so all we're gonna do is check these grounds. So right now I've got the multimeter probe into the wire that's giving these normal power, and so I should be able to check the grounds down here on this bulkhead that Jeff was talking about and see if they work. So if I touch it to the main ground bolt, you'll see I get some sort of voltage. Now this is not 12 volts, which you'd like to see, but there's some resistance from the bulbs, old wiring, and so I'm going to check the grounds from the passenger side and driver's side light down here and see if they're both working. First I'm going to get a light because we need light back here. Okay, so here's our voltmeter, as I mentioned, and because this little bulkhead is broken, I can actually probe each of the connections individually because it's a little difficult to back probe them, which I can actually still do. So if I back probe the one for the driver side, which is USDM passenger side, you'll see I get the same voltage as if I back probe the passenger one. So that means that this ground is fine unless there's something wrong in the wire. So that means we need to move further up the wire and see where we start losing good ground.
Ground when we are hitting the brake, not so much just the running lights, because as you've seen, those are fine.
Okay, so on this harness, there's a ground for your reverse lights, or excuse me, your turn signals, your brake lights, and it all comes off of one area here. So what I've done here is I've made a small incision in the wire so that I can probe the wire further up here and see. Oh, I just lost it. We'll find it here in a second. And there it is. If you look at the voltmeter, we still have ground right here. So why don't you go ahead and go press the brake pedal, we'll see if that changes. Ground is still good, and this light is out. So that means, I bet you it's in that socket actually.
Probably. I mean, the ground seemed good, so it has to be the actual socket. It could be because does it chain off? Yeah, it just chains off this one.
Yep.
So it could be either this socket or both sockets. So the good thing is, like I said, just in case, I did order extra sockets off Amazon. If you are interested in getting these sockets, we will leave a link in the description below to the Amazon link to where do we buy these from. And they were like $6, so not bad.
Great, so I'm gonna get my equipment.
And I'm gonna sit here and watch.
Okay, so just to be sure.
Oh, the lights are off. I turned the lights
Okay,
off.
yeah. Okay, go ahead and turn it. Okay, so just to be sure, we're going to go ahead and test the ground on here. You'll see that we have ground continuity there. And then go ahead and press the brake and it just goes away. So something's happening in here when the power is applied for the different setting on the bulb that is just basically shorting this socket out. That's our best estimate, so we're going to go ahead and change it now. So I've got my equipment here. What we're going to use is a heat gun. We're going to use these wonderful solder and seal wire connectors that make wiring so easy. We're going to use some automatic wire strippers, some wire crimpers, and of course our multimeter. So in addition to the sockets you need, we're going to link all this stuff in the description below. And this stuff makes it super easy to do wiring that you need. Well, super easy. I would say it makes it easier. And also, this isn't the only wiring thing we're going to be chasing down in this car, is it?
No, not at all.
And if you've watched any of the FC build series, you'll see that you need to wire up all kinds of stuff, whether you're fixing wiring in your old 80s or 90s JDM car, or if you're going to be putting in an electric fan, electric power steering, any type of wiring for your aftermarket ECU wiring harness. So having these tools around is going to save you a lot of time. Time is money, so definitely recommend checking those out. So now we're going to go ahead and dive into switching out this socket. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, as you can see, there's plenty of wire length on both sides, and just in case we decide, oh, we didn't want to do this, we want to switch back to this, we're going to leave plenty of wire on both sides so it's easy to replace this if necessary.
And also, these themselves have quite a bit of slack on them too, so you can make yourself quite a bit.
Yep, so here's our old one. Here's our new one. The first thing we need to do is, did it come with any instructions?
Negative, Ghost Rider. That's it.
All right, so before we actually solder this in place, we're gonna make all the connections to what we think are what. Obviously, we think black is ground. One of these is basically high beam and low beam for running light and brake light. So we're gonna just connect those manually and test them out before we solder them together.
I like to add, it's funny because I will weld on crap with this and TIG and MIG or whatever, but I won't do this. This scares me, which is funny considering you'd think it'd be the opposite way. I'll weld on a car, but I want to do electrical.
Okay, let's grab this bulb, wherever the bulb went.
I got more, oh, it's right here.
Hiding. Make sure this fits in here, right? Okay, it does. Okay.
So I will go ahead and flip on the lights.
Yep.
Oh, lights are still on actually.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm dealing with live wires. Okay, so
Stop the beeping.
Okay. So
all right, so
running light. And now try your brakes.
okay, dokie.
That's really bright.
Anything?
Now try the brakes. And it works!
All right.
Okay.
So we can shut those off now that he knows what wires what. And we can wire them up correctly.
So black goes to black, red goes to green like Christmas, and blue goes to brown. So we'll go ahead and get those set up here real quick. Oof, that's bright. So this is the beauty of these
All right.
soldery guys.
Look at it shrinking. Look at that.
And there goes the solder. And that's like it's one wire. Beautiful. Now I do have a little tip for you. When you're working with these, let's see if you can see them okay. You're going to notice that one side is larger than the other on these. Your OEM wires are almost always going to be smaller even when they're the same gauge, because they're going to save as much money as they can on insulation when they manufacture a car. So use your smaller end on the OEM wire, slide that over, and then it'll kind of be held in place even, and then you get your aftermarket wire, whatever you're using, and the insulation's almost always going to be thicker.
Your gun is burning you. It's smoking. Oh no, it's just smoking.
It's just because it's brand new, yeah. It's not, I could feel it if it was burning me.
So I'm like, dude, you're on fire.
And it's difficult to see in here. I'll put some light on it. But all you got to do is make sure that you've got the wires overlapped in the portion where there's the silver solder there, and then just heat it up. And trust me, I've done this with lighter and even a butane torch many times. This heat gun is a lifesaver. It's so easy and so much simpler to use, and you don't have the flame blowing out and all that stuff. So just get this, it's cheap. Black Friday's coming, maybe it'll be on sale.
It's smoking. That was pretty quick with those. Mm-hmm. A smoking gun. Sweet. So there you go. It's all wired up.
Yep, and you just let that cool, and those things will be just as strong as the rest of your wire. When they're a little warm, they're a little bit malleable, but once they dry, or excuse me, cool down, they're good to go. Okay, hot, hot, hot.
Are all of them still hot? Or just the Christmas?
Just a Christmas one. Okay, so give me that and go turn on your lights and see how it goes.
All right. Running lights on.
Mm-hmm.
Look away, because here comes the brakes. Boom.
Boom, brakes. That definitely is working.
Yeah, so it was that socket.
So turn the lights off and just try and hit your brakes too. Boom. Nailed it. Now, let's see here if that fixed both of them.
Oh yeah, huh? Alright, so let's turn it back on. Looks like it. I see the interior lit up.
Uh-huh. But let's check the brake light was not working. Nope,
Yeah.
we still still need to fix that one.
Oh.
But it's pretty easy. So.
Oh, I see the bulb. The other bulb is illuminating the back.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
Okay, one more to go.
So in more garage fashion, when something is broken, meet the trash. So Thomas went ahead and tightened everything up with this like Velcro-ish.
It's called Tessa tape. Also link in the description. Really great stuff.
And it's ready to go back in place. So just gotta lamp. These didn't come up on top.
Oh, yeah.
Sliding.
There we go. Beautiful.
All right, so now we just gotta put that little panel back on right here.
I'll start pulling my equipment out.
And once the panel's on, the screws go in, then we'll put that center panel back on by lifting up the weather stripping and then compressing it back down. And then we're good to go. There we go, final product. Thomas is gonna go ahead and turn on the lights here.
Wrong stop.
There they are. Both taillights are working. And there's both brake lights.
Yeah.
In fact, now the right-hand side of the car is a lot brighter than the left. Well, no, they're pretty equal.
And then with the lights off.
Yeah, they're pretty equal. And if anything, I have two more bulbs that we can throw in here if it's just because they're fresh bulbs.
But they're both working, right?
Yeah, they're both working.
There we go.
First successful venture with the FD.
Well, now you can actually drive it without being too conspicuous. Taillight out is an easy way to get pulled over.
It's true. And like we just went over, this car is not yet registered.
Working on it.
And yeah, the paperwork's already sent in and everything, but Hopefully by next week this car will be fully registered, plates will be here, and everything will be good.
That's it.
That's it.